All right, everybody, welcome in season 2, episode 19 of the Swishlist Podcast. Roman, I tried to tell you, the Timberwolves, we really are that team. We are that team. We are 6-0 in the postseason. Charles Barkley just said we're going to sweep the Denver Nuggets. We have the face of the league. Roman. And I could go on and on about what we just watched on television not 20 minutes ago, but I want to give you the chance to tell us, what did you see today out of the Minnesota Timberwolves? I'm genuinely curious.
I saw a master class from the entire team missing their defensive anchor. I was just sitting there just thinking, well, this is right. No, this is right. Unfortunate. Hate to say it, but they dominated from start to finish. They pissed off the entire Nuggets team. They had Jamal Murray throwing things. Their coach probably should have been ejected, but got nothing.
Because the refs are in their pockets. But anyways,
it was the worst thing I've seen from the Nuggets before.
Have you ever seen a championship team absolutely dismantled in this fashion the following year?
I mean, maybe this is just one game, though. We can't act like this series is over. Okay,
We're up 2-0. It's over. No. Listen.
One game.
Listen, just we did this last time when we were playing the Suns and we were up 2-0, and I said,
Yeah,
this series.
Moses. This is the defending champs. Okay,
Who did you have winning?
You had series go 2-0 that have gone to 6-7 games.
Wait, didn't you have the Suns winning? I think you did.
I did.
Okay, so and you have Denver winning. So okay, listen, we're up 2-0. The numbers are on our side. We punked the Denver Nuggets without Rudy Gobert. We punked them. We punched them in the freaking mouth, and they cried like babies, and nobody came to help. Nobody came to help. And this is the thing about Denver, man. This is the thing about Denver. When they start getting clowned, you can pretty much tee up a dirty play from Jokic, and he starts swinging on people a little bit, starts to get a little chippy, and Jamal Murray just loses his mind. He just unravels, falls apart completely. And the best was Aaron Gordon making shots. I was like, oh, he's going to keep shooting. I knew it too. I knew it. It was beautiful. It was so good. Like, we stripped Michael Porter Jr. We were blocking Jokic on his little goofy hook shots. Like, they had nothing. They really had nothing. Naz Reid came in, delivered. Karl Anthony Towns delivered. Ant didn't even have a great game. And in the second half, he turned up a little bit. We beat them so bad. The crowd was chanting MVP for Anthony Edwards.
I couldn't believe that.
In a playoff game.
For MVP in the Nuggets arena? We got
in
that
their house
up there?
Yeah, that's how quiet it was, okay?
Yeah, people leaving at the end of the third quarter. We playoff home game.
We punked them. I don't even know what to tell you. I don't like. I think I just checked on my phone. They put our logo on their court. Like, it's our floor now. It's our floor now.
I'm sick of hearing this. I need Friday to come sooner.
So do I, because we're gonna win again. Okay, so I'll give you a reprieve from talking about the Wolves. Let's talk about Rudy Gobert. He missed today's game because him and his girlfriend, they had their first child today, early in the day. And I have to ask you this, Roman. It's a playoff game. You're up 1-0 on the defending champs. Do you miss the birth of your child to play in a playoff game?
Gilbert Arenas was talking about this today.
Mm-hmm. We have to talk about it.
He said, you can't miss that. Your baby will still be there. Oh man. I mean, it's basketball, but there's things more important than basketball. And of course, one of those things is your family. So I'm not mad at him missing it. You shouldn't miss that. You shouldn't miss that.
I mean, now it doesn't matter, but there was a narrative prepared if they lost that game that people were going to go after Gobert. So here's the thing. Here's what's interesting is it's not like people just started having babies in the last 5-10 years. What's weird is that we've never really seen players miss playoff games for having children in the past. But I think generationally, this is a different generation. We just do things different. If it were me, first of all, if I tried to miss anything, my wife would literally end me. I wouldn't even make it out of the hospital. I would be in a hospital bed somewhere else. That aside, I wouldn't miss the birth, but I might try to play. If the birth was at like 10 a.m., I might try and catch a PJ at like 1 or 2, fly, get to the game, fly back, and I'm there by the evening. I might try to swing that, and I'm gonna, I'm gonna drop 35 or like 40 points and shout out my son at the end of the
Great
game, you know
stuff.
what I mean? Yeah.
Great.
I'm gonna amp up. The locker room doesn't know I'm coming, and then I just walk in the door and everybody just gets fired up. We might have won that game by 50 if Gobert was there. I'm just saying.
You can't say that because then it changes. You see these numbers. Some teams perform better when their star players and they're, it's different.
The thing to keep in mind, though, is that the Timberwolves have been used to playing without one of their signature 7-footers. They missed Karl Anthony Towns for a large part of the season. And so it's not abnormal for that team to run that lineup and to have that rotation. In fact, like you could even make an argument for some of those guys, it felt a little bit better. The one player I really don't want to see in the series anymore is Monte Morris. He's bad. He's really bad. He's an NPC out there. He's your my player if you didn't buy any VC that first game. But you only get a couple minutes and you just are bricking shots. Yeah, he hasn't been great, but literally I think every other person has. I mean, we were laughing at them while we were playing defense.
Yeah, it's not.
It's it's just so good. I'm not an old man by any stretch of the word. I might be old in comparison to some in my late 20s. Never in my life have I gotten to see the Timberwolves be this good. Like I have to enjoy this moment while I can. While I can. So what can we expect from the series moving forward? What do you expect from the series moving forward?
Uh, Probably a back and forth. I mean, this Timberwolves team is they're no joke. It's not like they're just gonna drop off all of a sudden. So I'm assuming it's Nuggets take game 3, and then Timberwolves take game 4, and then it heads back to uh, Denver. They win 1, and then Timberwolves probably winning game 6.
There it is.
I was assuming this series was gonna go game 6. It depended on
Yep.
how the first 2 went. I thought maybe it was gonna go back and forth, but Timberwolves taking both games from them, and now they have to go to Minnesota. All the Timberwolves really have to do is just win 1 game on their home court. That's all they got to do.
Let's just play 4 in Denver. I think we could just that's our home floor now. We could just end it there.
Let's just stay there for 3 and 4.
We don't even need to go back. What we got to go back for? I think it's a tragedy the NBA put the game on Friday though. Of course
That
they
delay
did.
is that delay is crazy, especially in the middle of the series. Like you play 2 games and then get 5 days off.
Yeah, it's
That
ridiculous.
that's excessive. Like that's too much. Cat said it in the post game interview. He was like, "We'll see them Friday," and he's got to be wrong. That's if they. What are you talking about? I go to ESPN and hey, Friday delay is way too long.
Yeah, but I think it's pretty safe to assume that OKC Dallas is going to be a pretty decent series. It's going to take some time for that one to finish. And if somehow the Timberwolves put Denver away in 5, they very well may have this stretch of rest right now and then a back end stretch of rest if that series goes to 6, maybe even 7 games. Like if you're the Minnesota Timberwolves, you've got to be you've got to be on cloud
How
9.
happy they were on that bench at the end of the game. They're all on
Mm,
cloud 9.
mhm,
If
mhm.
rest good, some teams it's not good.
It's gonna be good for this team. Anthony Edwards is a dog. Okay,
Hey,
it doesn't
I'll
matter.
trust you. This is your team. Trust you on that.
It does not matter. That man he's looking to kill everything in front of him. He said it himself, and he will. And I tried to explain this. We just we're one of the only teams that matches up against Denver. There's not a lot of teams that match up against Denver because we have multiple 7-footers and we're extremely athletic. Our players coming downhill at Jokic, he can't defend the rim against Anthony Edwards. He's just not quick enough. He doesn't elevate high enough. There's just no way. He's not athletic enough. And then our guards are 6'7" and above, right? So outside of Mike Conley, we're going like 6'6", 6'7", 6'9" across the board on Jamal Murray, and we're giving them different looks constantly giving them different looks. We'll pick them up full court. We'll pick them up at the half. We'll stunt. We'll double team. He'll be guarded, like Jamal will be guarded by Anthony Edwards. Then all of a sudden, Jaden McDaniels. Like, we can give them so many looks right now. It's just too much. It's overwhelming. Now, when you look at the Lakers didn't have bigs that could stop Jokic. They just didn't have bigs, and they also didn't have guards that could defend. And so, like, it was a complete mismatch. And I think with most teams, it's a mismatch. Like, Chet Holmgren's not going to be able to defend Jokic. Not a chance. Not a chance. And so the Timberwolves are just one of the only teams uniquely positioned to beat that team. And you want to know why? It's because the GM that built that Denver team, the GM that drafted Jokic, is the GM for the Minnesota Timberwolves. He literally built the kryptonite. He built their kryptonite. It's I don't even know what to say.
I saw some tweet that said, "I love that Tim Conley was he had two. The thinking was he had two ideas from two systems that could potentially work, and he was like, why don't I try both of them?
Why not both?
And we'll match up against each other, and we'll see which one is better." So
Well, and you start to look at the coaching, and it makes a lot of sense because the head coach who's dealing with the knee injury and the assistant coach who's stepping in as interim head coach, they're both Mike Malone guys who were in that system when the GM was there. So it kind of brings everything full circle that our coaching staff knows Mike Malone's offense. Our GM built that team. Like, this was the team built to beat that franchise. Genuinely, I don't know. Like, I'll say the Timberwolves are going to go to the finals. You don't hear me saying they're going to win a championship. We got a lot in front of us to before we can make that type of a decision. But we are uniquely positioned to win this round, and that is everything for this franchise.
sure, first two games have proven it. So
Before we start talking about some of these other series, I want to address some of Pat Riley's comments today on social media saying that Jimmy Butler should probably stop trolling because he wasn't on the floor and that Tyler Hero is fragile, missing too many games. Uh, I think Pat Riley is probably the only guy in the league that can get away with these comments, like the mafia boss of the NBA. What does this actually mean, in your opinion? Is this something that we're like looking into a little bit too much, or what can we expect given Jimmy Butler's looking to make 100-something million on a 2-year deal?
I think it's just Pat Riley. I don't think there's too much to look into it. It's
Mm,
Jimmy Butler is going to overstep his boundary always. I mean, he was doing it in the middle of the play-in tournament, telling Kelly Oubre that they need to fight immediately. It's just talk. Jimmy Butler's going to say his things. Pat Riley's going to come back. I feel like it's just a little banter just to keep them in conversation. And I mean, he's not wrong about Tyler Hero. He needs to be healthy. He needs to produce more. And they expect more from this guy. So I think I wouldn't say it's an overreaction or anything, but it's just something that Pat Riley said. But this is how Pat Riley operates.
I think that this iteration of the Miami Heat is done. I think it's over. I think they're not signing Jimmy Butler to a 2-year, 100-something million dollar deal. I think he's probably walking out the door and playing somewhere else. I'm not sure what that place is, but I think that he has overstayed his welcome, and Pat Riley knows that they're not going to be able to climb the mountain again, given where they're at. I don't think that they're a team that necessarily wants to try and do a full rebuild necessarily, but I just don't believe that this is all smoke. I think there's some truth to it, a little tiny bit. I think Pat Riley's kind of tired of Jimmy Butler. Word on the street is that Jimmy was kind of picking and choosing when he was going to play, that he was letting everybody know, I'm playing tonight. It wasn't necessarily a team decision or a doctor's decision. It was more Jimmy Butler's decision. I think he believes he's kind of the king of Miami, and that ship has sailed. So look to see Jimmy Butler playing for a new team. And if you're listening to this right now, comment below where you think Jimmy Butler's playing next season. Do you believe Roman? Is he playing in Miami? Or are you going to side with me, who has been right about just about everything
Oh my gosh, I'm so sick.
this postseason? And he's going to play somewhere else. One of us will be
We
right.
got
One
to
of us will be
COVID
wrong.
the load management stuff because showing up, Jimmy Butler, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, Giannis, Dame, these guys who are resting
Hmm.
and have missed significant amount of time are coming back and are getting injured. So
You want to have this discussion?
likely
What team do we talk about first? What stars do you want to talk about first?
out of those
Mhm.
stars,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Clippers, we got to talk about Clippers.
Yeah, I mean, the Clippers are dodging, like, literally being the focal point of so many memes because of the Drake beef with Kendrick Lamar. Uh, I understand them bringing Kawhi back because they're opening a new stadium next year, but do you bring Paul George back? I'm not even I just don't know if it makes sense. Russell Westbrook was so awful. I mean, there's a clip of him shooting a fadeaway from the paint, and it goes over the backboard. I don't even think the worst player in high school shoots a shot that bad. I don't know how you shoot a shot like that functionally as just a grown man. I can't understand it. And so it's hard because I like this Clippers. I like Terrence Mann. I like Zubats. I like Paul George. I like Kawhi, even though I never get to see him play in the postseason. I just don't think that this team is we're never gonna see it. Like, we're not gonna see healthy Kawhi play for the Clippers. We may never see healthy Kawhi, period, in the postseason. I think it's over.
It's been too long. I mean, this goes back to the bubble, which was so long ago. Like
Yeah.
you've had your chances. It's not working. Like, yes, there's a small chance it could work out, but I mean, you got Russ having to go to social media to talk about that he was okay with this
Yeah.
postseason, that he's all right. Like, if you have to make a statement like that, you know there's something wrong. That's what I got out of it.
The old
Like,
guys are cooked.
guys are cooked.
The old guys are
Russ,
cooked.
James Harden, Kawhi, PG, LeBron, Dev,
KD,
KD, they're all out.
they're
All
it's
out.
they're cooked. They're cooked. When I okay, so I wanna hear your answer to this. If you're the Bucks GM, right? And you look at the history of that team, won a championship, then out in the second round, and then now back-to-back years out in the first round, Giannis injured, either barely plays or doesn't play in the series. What are you saying to Giannis? Like, what are you asking him to do this offseason so that he can play in the postseason next year?
I I don't know what you say to him. I mean, how do you just control how healthy this guy is?
I have some ideas.
What do you have?
I think if I'm just want to make sure I get my notes here. Let's see. If I'm the GM, I go to Giannis and I say, listen, your attack the rim relentless basketball works. It just doesn't work for 82 games anymore. You're too old. Your body can't sustain that many hits on a nightly basis. So in the off season, you need to learn how to shoot a 15-foot jump shot. You need to spend the entire offseason with Chris Middleton. You need to spend the entire offseason with his team. You need to spend the entire offseason working on nothing but jump shooting. Lose 5, 6 pounds of muscle and get a better jump shot. And I promise you, we can focus on the jump shot early in the season and we can transition to more of an aggressive style as we get to the end of the season. And what you're going to find is you'll be playing in the postseason. I think that's the solution. Giannis's inability to shoot a consistent jump shot is his biggest liability right now, and it's what forces him to be overly aggressive. And we're getting into the territory of he's just going to be injured every season at the end because his body can't sustain the hits.
I like it, but I just don't know if it's realistic.
I don't know if it is either,
I
but
don't think
Blake Griffin, okay, but Blake Griffin developed a jump shot.
okay, valid. Good
Blake Griffin
comparison.
developed it. He was an extremely athletic dunker. Now he didn't have his ball in the hands the same way that Giannis does, slightly different, but that's a guy that developed a very serviceable jump shot.
I think over a few
Brooke
years
Lopez. Brooke
happen.
Lopez developed the jump shot.
Yes. Maybe that's also who he needs to work. It's funny
Yes.
that he has 2 elite shooters on his team, 3 elite
Yeah.
shooters, and it's not
Got
improved.
3.
I mean, maybe it's even just a minutes restriction type of thing, like
Mm,
throughout the season, like not game restriction, but like first half of the season, like we're stopping you at 35 minutes. You're not playing over
yeah.
35 minutes. And is that what we've come to in the league? I mean, it kind of looking like it is because, like we mentioned before, all these stars are just going down in the playoffs because they're not even playing 60 games in the season.
It's just the old guys. If you're going to do that with the old guys, that's one thing. The other piece for Milwaukee is they probably need to get younger. I might even move a Chris Middleton. I think his trade value is extremely high after hitting a lot of those clutch
Yeah,
shots against the Pacers. I would probably move Middleton and try and get 2 or 3 young players and a couple picks. If there's a team I would target, it'd be a team like Orlando. Go try and get like a Jalen Suggs, a Wendell Carter Jr., and a first round pick. That way you get young and athletic at the guard position. You get a very solid, versatile big who's fast and can hit the three and can hit the three. And you maybe try and get 1 or 2 picks. That's what I would do. I would try and target a team with some solid young role players, and I would see if maybe they need an all-star level player with championship experience. Plus, Orlando's looking into Paul George. They're interested in Devin Booker. They're interested in Klay Thompson. They're interested in like they're hunting for a veteran right now. So it's kind of like a match made in heaven. The only thing that's tough is they're in the same conference. And so you have to take that into account. But you find a Western Conference counterpart that's in a very similar situation, and you might find something solid. So that would probably be how I would address Milwaukee.
yes, Bucks probably need to switch something up once again.
Yeah. Why do you think the Knicks series is drowned out by the Timberwolves?
And that's all it is. And I don't know, I wouldn't say the Knicks are they're not the exciting type of basketball like other teams are. Like they're more of
Mm,
a gritty,
yeah.
we're gonna beat you on the defensive end and we're gonna get a bunch of offensive boards. Like if you're in New York, you love the Knicks. But I mean outside of that, it's like Jalen Brunson takes 30 shots a game. Josh
Yeah.
Hart is just out there running around. Dante DiVincenzo puts up 15 3-pointers a game. And
Hartenstein with
but,
his little float shot.
yeah, Hartenstein putting up left-handed floaters. They're they're not the entertainment that other teams bring, but I I think they're exciting. I like this game tonight.
Oh, fun watch, dude.
It's a great
So
watch. I mean,
good.
Brunson, it's not getting talked about enough. Like the dude has had back to back to back to back 40-point playoff games.
Mhm, mhm.
And it's not like he's just shooting the ball like 35 and 10 for a lot of these games. Like the guy is amazing. He's been the best playoff player in the playoffs. Like he has been the biggest performer as of right now. And
I mean, Anthony Edwards exists, but okay.
yeah, but Brunson's putting up better numbers.
We're 6-0, so
Yeah, but Brunson's putting up better numbers.
we're 6-0. But just saying. Go ahead.
Okay. But yeah, Ant's just extremely entertaining. I mean, he's got everything to his game, and he's kind of a different superstar. He's more, he likes to trash talk a little bit more. He's
Mhm.
more of a funny guy. He's younger. A lot of these superstars try and stay like very professional and all that kind of stuff, but Ant's really just being himself, and I think it's shining through, and it's making him very unique to the league.
Yeah, and there's one thing I'm afraid of with the Knicks. Uh, Pigs get fed, hogs get slaughtered. And I think that the Knicks have something really good going. I think they've got a solid core of Villanova guys. Their chemistry is high. This is the best they've been in such a long time, and they have a legitimate chance to make it to the conference finals. And maybe that's why people don't really care about Indiana, even though this is kind of a battle between Halliburton and Jalen Brunson. One guy made Team USA, the other didn't. But the fact that we're seeing rumors that they're willing to trade anybody but Brunson to go and get a guy like Kevin Durant, it just makes me wonder, like, pigs get fed, hogs get slaughtered, like New York. Don't let your eyes get too
Too much.
big. Like, don't trade the entire core because you think you're one piece away and then you have no future. Like,
Mhm.
build on this. Move the Julius Randle contract and find a star that fits. Right? Don't just get Donovan Mitchell because you like Donovan Mitchell. Devin Booker might be a better fit, but don't liquidate all of your assets to do it. Look at what happened to Phoenix. Phoenix made it to the finals and then liquidated the team, got Kevin Durant, and they've progressively gotten worse every year. So as much as I hate to say it, I don't want to see the same thing happen in New York. And so that's kind of like my caution. I do also want to make a note about Joel Embiid. Wow, what a dirty player. Like, can we actually just say that Joel Embiid's a dirty player now?
This series was bad, bad for him, bad for him,
It's
and
horrible.
it showed through. And
Yeah, everybody was watching.
I mean, yeah, he had his dirty plays, but it was just a lot of foul seeking too. Um,
Yeah, he's a
Usually you
terrible.
see it through teams, but it was just him. Like
Mhm.
it was him the entire time flailing and bumping into people and throwing opponents to the ground. Like he was playing extremely dirty.
Yeah, he's not a good watch. It's not fun to watch him on television. It's just not an enjoyable
We
game.
need a healthy Embiid.
It's like when we used to watch James Harden. I mean, the step back was nice, but you're watching him shoot like 25 free throws. It's just not fun.
He is the newer James Harden.
He might be a worse version of James Harden. He's never made it to a conference finals in his life. There's never been an MVP that's missed the conference finals in their career like Joel Embiid. He's one of one. Disaster.
He's not a winner.
Anyways, let's talk second round predictions. Now that we've kind of talked a little bit about a little bit about a few matchups, I'd love to hear who are your picks for the second round.
Which series you want to go first?
Let's start with Minnesota.
Yes. Uh, After these two games, Timberwolves will win in six.
Hmm.
You concur?
Yeah, I called Wolves in 6 early on. I didn't expect to be 2-0 at this point, to be quite honest with you. That this is not what I anticipated. I figured we'd win the 2 home games, but I am very confident in my pick. And once again, even though I am a delusional Timberwolves fan, I do expect Denver to make this a series.
Win a
I
cup
do
hit.
I do not think they're a team that's just gonna lie down. They might end up, injuring one of my players in the process. Jokic, also low-key dirty player. Shouldn't be surprised. His brother punched a fan recently. So it's kind of in the DNA. But Jamal Murray, crybaby, flopper, throwing stuff on the court. They'll probably win a game or two. But yeah, Timberwolves in 6.
Yeah, my original prediction was Let's make this clear.
No,
My
yeah,
original prediction was Nuggets in 6, but
yeah.
after dropping 2, it's becoming clear what this is looking like. And
Mhm.
like I said, I don't think this Timberwolves team is just going to lay down now. It's not like they have any injuries or anything, and they're headed back home. So I expect this to go 3-1, and we know what happens with 3-1s usually.
Yeah.
So game 6.
Turn out the lights. Party's over. I don't think it's gonna be a sweep, like Charles Barkley said. Moving on in the West, we've got the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Dallas Mavericks. Your pick.
Young team. Um, I try not to doubt OKC, but they're just extremely young. Luka's got some playoff experience now. He's got Kyrie on his team.
Mhm.
This team is deep now with the moves that they made. So I'm gonna go Mavs in 7.
I'm gonna take Mavs in 7 as well. But the main reason why is because in the same way that we're the kryptonite for the Nuggets, I really think Dallas matches up incredibly well against Oklahoma City. Incredibly well against Oklahoma City. The biggest there's two main reasons, and they both have to do with Luka Doncic. His pace is going to be difficult for Chet Holmgren, and his size is going to make it difficult for Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. Shea wins because he's so much bigger than the guard that's defending him. He's got size, shiftiness, all the ability in the world. And it's not that he's just like this incredible 3-point shooting threat. It's when he gets in the paint, it's pretty automatic. But when you're going against Luka, who's bigger than you, it changes the dynamic of the way that he gets to play offense. And I just really, I don't know if there's a team that had a better trade deadline than the Dallas Mavericks. The acquisitions that they had, the athleticism that they've been able to acquire at on the how cheap those deals were for like Derrick Jones Jr., for example. They are a team that I believe is confident. You know, they play against the Clippers. They know they can beat the Clippers, but I believe they match up incredibly well against the Thunder.
Just think about matchups here now. Who's are they gonna put Lou Dort on Kyrie or Luka?
It doesn't matter. That's the thing.
Think we go Luka, but then because I don't think Shea's gonna guard either Kyrie or Luka. He's gonna be on probably guarding Derrick Jones Jr. on defense because I think they'll probably put Derrick Jones Jr. on him. I don't know how they're gonna match up. Like,
I think they're gonna show Shea a lot of different sets. I think that at times it'll be PJ. I think at times it'll be Derrick Jones Jr. And I think at times it's gonna be Luka. And you gotta mix it up. You gotta show different looks. But I think those people are gonna take the challenge. And if it were me and I'm Luka, I'm trying to get a foul on Shea as quickly as I can.
yeah, going the other way. Who
Mhm.
this this
Bec-
matchup will be interesting. I'm interested to see who's guarding who's
Okay,
starting.
but how do you not put Shea on Luka to start? Because in the pick and roll, if you put Shea somewhere else, they're just going to run the pick and roll with PJ. He's going to pick and pop, and they're going to put him in the action, and then they're going to have Shea guarding Luka off of the pick and roll.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm very excited to see what these matchup like
Oh, me
tomorrow.
too.
Game 1's
Yeah,
tomorrow.
Dallas is always one of the most interesting teams to get to watch on TV, and this series is going to be just as exciting.
He's
And
Red versus a young coach of the year.
And just wait till Dallas has to play against my Timberwolves, man. Ah, they're gonna get cooked, just like the league is. Moving over to the East, we have the Knicks and the Pacers. An incredible game one. The Knicks end up winning out due to some flopping from Jalen Brunson and some flopping from Dante DiVincenzo. That's right, they flopped to win that game, to ice that game. Who do you have winning that series?
Knicks. So, I mean, this is my Pacers team that I talked about at the beginning of the season that I thought was
True.
going to surprise people,
And
and
they
they're doing.
have.
But I don't know. It's just the Knicks. The Knicks look good. They look like a unit as much as the Pacers look really good. I'm assuming that the Knicks take game 2 as well, and then they steal one. Uh, they still won in Indiana, and then
Mm.
I'm thinking it goes to 5. I I like my Pacers team, but this Knicks team just looks really good.
Yeah, I struggle to think that what Miles Turner did tonight is gonna happen consistently. That's, like, my biggest fear, and also Pascal Siakam can't learn how to shoot a free throw, but he doesn't stand up to the free throw line. He was
I
standing
know,
further
why is
back and
he,
then
like,
shot it
supposed to
short.
have back?
I can't understand it. Um, yeah, I'm gonna go Knicks in 6. The Knicks are susceptible to just a dud game. I think the Pacers will legitimately win a close game, and then I think the Knicks will also have a dud at some other point in the series, and it's gonna be 4-2 New York Knicks. Now, Boston, Cleveland.
We know how the Celtics are, like, they're probably gonna end up blowing a couple games.
Mhm.
Donovan Mitchell will probably have a game where he goes off for 50, another game for 45, so, I mean, I can't believe I'm saying this, but this series feels like it could be a little bit closer than the Knicks-Pacers series to me, so I'm gonna go Celtics in 6 because they
Wow.
took the game to that Heat team,
It's true.
and it's so annoying to watch. There's no reason they should have dropped a game to that Heat team. I don't care how well they shot, like,
Mm.
they did, but they shouldn't lose that, so I'm gonna say Celtics in 6.
I'm gonna go Celtics in 5. I think that the Orlando series really got to Cleveland. I don't I think it's great that they came back in that game 7, but even just the fact that they were in that position in the first place or losing a game when Donovan scores 50 points, I think it's in their head. I've got Boston in 5, winning in pretty convincing fashion.
And they don't have a lot of break too. I think that series starts in 2 days, so
Yeah, like
coming off game 7, Boston's had over a week of rest now, so
Mhm.
it's gonna hurt, but again, I've got a little bit of faith in this Celtics defense that they can win a couple games.
The thing to keep in mind, the thing to keep an eye on is the Kristaps Porzingis injury. What is it? How long is it going to take for him to be back on the floor? That's what you have to look for the chink in the armor for the Boston
It's
Celtics.
looking like he's out for what, the series as of right now, I'm pretty sure, correct?
They're not going to need him this series, so I'm okay with that. But it's injury reports in the postseason. It's hard to know what's real and what's fake.
Jared Allen's out too, the rib injury. I don't know how
Yeah,
long he's out too, but I mean, it could be
missed a lot of
something
games.
interesting. Al Horford getting a lot of minutes, so could be interesting for a few of those games.
Could be. Let's talk about this face of the league. A lot of people want to anoint Anthony Edwards face of the league right now. I don't know if I wanna go that far, but I believe whoever wins the championship this year is the face of the NBA.
It seems like the turn of the
Like,
with all of our superstars going out early, it definitely seemed like a changing of the chapter. Like,
it's Jokic, Tatum, Luka, Brunson, Shea, Ant.
and I know the league does not want it to be a foreigner. They're not going to want it to be a foreigner. And
I
this
think
is,
the fans don't want it to be a foreigner.
I agree, it's an American league, so they're going to try and make the face of the league, of course, an American. But I mean, the Europeans have just been so dominant for so many years in a row now. It's going to be tough to take it away from a Luka, a Jokic. Giannis is a little bit too old now.
Yeah,
I just think
Giannis isn't the guy.
injury prone, but it's the chapter is changing in the NBA.
The guy's
Yep.
Anthony Edwards, man. He's the guy, dude. When he wins if he wins a ring this year, if it's him versus Boston, like, he's 22 years old,
If
Roman. That's
Ant
the
wins a ring this year, he will be the face of the league. He will be the only topic over the summer.
if
Uh,
he wins a ring at 22 years old, I don't even know. I can't even picture it in my mind that
it's
happening.
uncharted territory. To be that young and winning, that's
Well, and here's the thing is like that's the runway, right? That means he has the runway to win 3, 4 championships. Whereas a guy like Giannis, maybe some of these older guys, like they don't have the same runway. They don't have that same
gotta
timeline.
get a few in your first like 8 years.
if you want to catch one of the all-time greats, you got to win a ring at like 22, 23 years old, period.
You got to have that deep playoff experience once you get to your prime, which is
Mhm.
crazy. Ant's not even close to what his prime could be if he stays healthy. Like,
No, but the leap he took from last year to this year. Okay, where do you think his game improved most from last postseason to this one?
his post game, like
Mm,
flash mid range.
yeah,
It's kind of collective, but I mean, before it was just explosive. Uh, he would have like spurts where he could shoot the ball, but
yeah.
his post game this year is incredible.
He's shooting the turnaround jump shot at 50% plus right now in the postseason. I think you're right. He's able to get to shots that put Denver in compromising positions as a defense. Like, they have to send a double when he looks for the turnaround jump shot, and he's willing to pass the ball when he
He makes
needs
the right
to
decision. Yep.
because he's a streaky three-point shooter. He's not a consistent three-point shooter, but he can get to the rim at an elite level and finish at an elite level, and his passing out of the double has been solid.
That's another thing. His
So,
finishing has become really good too. Like
yeah.
around the rim,
Oh, yeah.
he's not missing. He is not missing.
No, he's that MF don't miss.
Familiar to somebody that played in a red jersey about 25 years ago. I don't know.
Yeah, he's MJ's son, dude. He's playing like it for sure. Like, he's really on that trajectory right now. He just has to finish. You got to put Denver away as soon as you possibly can. But I think it's him, and then I think it'll be him in here, and it'll be Wemby internationally. I think it'll be a Anthony Edwards will be our guy, and Wemby will be the world's guy. And I think what we're gonna see this don't when I tell you the names, dial it back like 40%. But I think it's going to be a Larry Bird, Magic Johnson in the like, with the idea that it's two guys are the face of the league together, but it's kind of the US versus the world, and it's Anthony Edwards versus Wemby, Nike versus Adidas. Like, it's those two guys over the next who knows how long.
I see it like 20,
Yeah.
2028,
Yep.
2029. Uh, we've been seeing these guys battle with each other for who's the face of the league. Yeah, I could definitely see that.
That's how I think it's gonna go. Now, there is something that I do wanna highlight. This is a big miss on my part. When the Timberwolves made the trade for Rudy Gobert, 4 first-round picks, I thought it was one of the worst trades in the history of the league. I really did. Um, Here's the thing, though. If the Timberwolves win this series, just the series alone, Roman, those picks are not good picks. Those picks end up being like the 28th overall pick or the 31st overall pick in the first round. Like, or that's 31st. The the the
Yeah,
tw- the 28th or like the 30th, somewhere between 26, 27, 28. Like, they're not good picks. And so it makes that trade look even better because the team itself is performing.
bet on yourself.
They re he
Betting
like,
on yourself right there.
they really did, and it's paying off. Like, those are low first round picks that were not gonna be of high value. They got the player they felt that they needed to anchor their defense, to give them that defensive mentality, and it's paying huge dividends. Even though it broke trades in the league forever, it's huge for that team. So I just wanted to point that out. That was a space that I was completely wrong. I thought that going for Gobert was going to be an awful decision given how much they traded, how much in assets and capital they gave up. Um, outside of that, the only other thing the Timberwolves have to pay attention to is the fact that their owner doesn't pay the luxury tax. And you need to see if he'll keep Karl Anthony Towns or if he's going to blow the team up, even if they do win a ring.
Some owners, some owners just are not about it. I don't care if you win, you're done.
Yep. Yep. So maybe Alex Rodriguez is a different opinion, but given that kind of fell apart for a while during the middle of the season. Who knows what's going to happen? But if you're a Minnesota Timberwolves fan, you got to be happy right now.
Prime time to be a
Hubie
Timberwolves.
Brown. It's the prime
All the
time.
Cat fans who have been waiting almost 10 years, it's finally paying off, and all it took was to go get another center. Let's get two of these guys, one that can shoot and one who plays defense. Everybody thought it would be an awful idea, but look at it now.
And Lakers fans are just like the Lakers fans are just as happy as anybody because they hate
They're
them.
already talking about Kyrie wants to still play with LeBron
Yeah.
potentially, but it got ruined. And all this stuff is coming up about stuff that happened on the sideline. And it's just classic. The regular season's over. Let's dive into what happened during the regular season that we missed.
Oh, what a time to be alive. Lakers fans, Timberwolves fans, I know we're on the same side. We both want to see Denver lose. Only time will tell, and we have so much basketball in front of us. So if you're listening right now, enjoy the fact that you get to see a basketball game every single day because this is one of the last weeks that we get this. It falls off very quickly. So enjoy it while you can, ladies and gentlemen. And with that, I'm going to have Roman send us off. Before he does, please, if you don't already, hit the like button, hit the follow button. Share this episode with somebody that you know that needs to learn about the game of basketball. We appreciate it. And leave us a comment. Let us know what you want us to talk about or pay attention to this week for next week's episode. Roman, take it away.
It is prime time. We are in the second round of the playoffs. We are on all your favorite platforms. Let us know what you want us to discuss. Interact with us. We are here for you guys. You want to know about next season? You want to know about potential series? If you disagree with us, just let us know. Let us hear it. We could be completely wrong. We have been completely wrong. Me, a little bit more than this guy this year. So,
To quote Darvin Ham, salute.
salute. Probably the worst speech I've ever heard.
The worst.
But yeah, we're here for you guys. We just want to talk about basketball with other people. So if you have any ideas, anything that you disagree on, let us know. Season 2, episode 19, Swishlist Podcast. We are out.